Hello. All right, today is Thursday the 13th, and here is our schedule that we had today. So we had a little bit of adjusted time because fifth grade had their STAR test today for science, and then tomorrow for Friday, everything will go back to regular schedules. So regular lunch, regular recess. There will be specials tomorrow, so normal everyday schedule. Tomorrow, while we're mentioning that, all grades are due. So there were a lot of chances today. Every single time we went to independent work, I was working with students trying to get things caught up. They had a lot of work time in the middle of class, and me there to support in case they had any questions. So there was a lot of opportunity for that. So I appreciate those that took advantage of that, and we'll do the same for tomorrow to try to get everyone all caught up and complete for this fourth 9 weeks. All right, so after STAR, we've got a relaxed couple days of math. So on the Google Classroom here under classwork, there are a couple of math. There's a math link thing here that has 4 different websites with some math games. And then there's also a math mystery picture where you can go and there's questions on the left hand side. And you type in your answer. And as you type in your answer, it creates this pixel art mystery photo. So once you get your photo and you've solved it, you could turn that in. Then let's see. We read Crenshaw chapters 36 through 41. We'll do chapters 42 through 52 tomorrow, and that'll be the remainder of the book. And we finished session 4 today, so I'm going to change this to 5 tomorrow. And so the chapter recordings are right here in Book Club and Google Classroom where it says Crenshaw Recordings. So you can listen to that there. And then in Activities and Seesaw, Crenshaw Assignment 4 and Crenshaw Assignment 5 are here. And then we continued working on our ecosystem research project. That's in Google Classroom. You can go under week 35 and click this here, Reading and Writing Ecosystem Research. When you open this up, students were asked to do, so they should by now have their what ecosystem they want to do, and they were to pick an animal that lives inside, that's a part of that ecosystem. So these first few pages, the habitat, the organism, you can go and add clip art into there. Where in the world is your ecosystem? And then the entire ecosystem here. So you can go and add like kind of like a collage and add different images in. And so remember, the ecosystem is made up of not just the living, not just the animals and the plants, but also all of the non-living things as well. So the rocks and the water and the air and everything that's in that system working together. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to talk more about within that ecosystem. We're going to look at all of the living things that are in there, and we're going to classify. Some of them are the producers. Those are the ones that use photosynthesis to produce their own food. Some of those are consumers. They depend on others in order to survive. And some of them are decomposers, and they're the ones that break down anytime an animal dies or plants. They're the ones that are doing breaking down. Then we're going to talk more about the habitat where your organism lives. Then we're going to talk about adaptations. So physical adaptations are like if you were to look at your animal, what kind of body structures and features does it have that help it survive in its environment? Then there's some examples on that page. And then diet. So what does your organism eat? and then what eats it. So here you're going to put what your organism is. We're going to classify it as a carnivore, herbivore, or omnivore, and we put notes in our science notebook about that on Monday, so you can reference that. And then it says, my organism gets energy from eating. So what is it that your animal is eating? So let's say that I am a bird and I eat bugs. So the bugs are transferring energy to me. So that arrow is going and showing the transfer of energy, and it's going to my organism. Well, something, let's say a hawk, eats the bird. And so that would be going, that energy from the bird would be transferring to the hawk. So what eats it, and what does your organism eat? Then on page 13, interactions between them. So food web. So here we're getting a little bit, we're kind of zooming out and not just looking at the one thing that it eats and the one thing that um, gets eaten. Sorry, let me start over. The previous page where we're talking about just like a food chain where it's just linear and it's just, okay, here's the thing that it eats and here's the thing that um, it gets eaten by. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. Now we're going to kind of zoom out and look at the entire web. So within that ecosystem, what are the other things involved? What are the other animals? How do they play a role in that system? Then down here on the bottom, we'll talk about the conservation status. So just looking up, is your animal endangered? Are they extinct? Are they threatened? Is there no concern at all? And just kind of look into that a little bit more. So we'll be working on that tomorrow. And then go back to the agenda here. So we'll work on that after we finish Crenshaw. So what do we have? Let me see. Too many agendas. There we go. So after we work on Crenshaw, we will work on that for the rest of reading, writing, and science time. And then also in science, we're going to continue our life cycle of a plant. And so that is in Google Classroom. I think I already have it open. Yep, right here. So, okay, so here's what we should have completed. So, page 2, we talked about what we know, what we want to know, and then we'll go back and tomorrow we'll add in what we've learned. We did the vocabulary page, we sequenced, and then today students were to go in and drag those vocabulary words. And tomorrow, on Friday, we're going to talk about, so this is all of these life cycles is what they should have gone today and labeled each one of those. What's the seedling? What's the plant? Where's the flower? And so on. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about, okay, now what did all these plants, when you labeled them, what do all these plants have in common? So we'll talk about that tomorrow. And then today on Thursday, we looked at these different seeds. So we used Google Images, and we typed in the search, we were looking for different types of seeds. And so this is all about how they travel. And so it's interesting to look at something, and it all has the same job. you know it all has the job of whatever plant it is. This is the thing that's going to start it off through that life cycle, and it's that beginning process. And so when you think about it, we normally talk about with adaptations and things like that. It's we think about all of those. Okay, I know why the cheetah's legs are the way they are, so it can run fast, and they use their tail for balance, and this and that. And we talk about animals a lot, but we don't really talk as much about plants. And plants have all these really cool, neat, different adaptations. And if you look closely at them, you can start seeing some similarities between them. So we talked about how some seeds travel by wind. So if you look at this milkweed, dandelion, and maple, they all kind of have these like wing shaped They're all really, really light, so they can float in the air, and they've got these wing-shaped parts on them that help float them through the air. And so we were talking about, if I'm a plant and the seeds that I produce are only able to spread into this one small location where I am, well, what if there's a fire or an earthquake or a flood, or something happens, or people knock down all the plants and trees and all that, and build a hotel, or all this stuff could happen. If seeds don't have a way of traveling, something could come and wipe it out. Well, now that plant is extinct and there's no more. So seeds want to travel to different places because that's how they kind of guarantee that their species will continue. And so one of the ways that they can do that is by wind. So we notice that all of these have that kind of similar shape to them, that helps them kind of float through the air, and they're all really, really light, which allows them to move a good distance. The next one, the if you look at these, they've got these spiky things on them, and they will attach. I'm sure you've gotten some on your shoes before, or maybe one on your pant leg. Well, the same thing happens to animals. It'll attach, and then the animal or the person moves, and they're like, "Oh, what is this thing on me, poking me?" And they'll brush it off, or maybe an animal will scratch it or bite it off. Well, now it's traveled and now it's in a new spot. And so, that's the goal of that. The next one, by water, all of these can float. And so, as the water is moving, the seeds are able to travel and not get, ruined. They can travel with the water. The next one is by bursting. So, these will kind of like shoot out their seeds, so it's spreading it, and they all kind of have that like pocket where you've got like the jewel weed, like if you've bitten into like a pea pod or something, so it's holding it in there, and then it'll release it, so it's kind of like bursting out of there. The next one, you've got the bean, the wheat, the cherry. These are things that get eaten, and then we were joking because we were like, okay, what goes in must come out. And so think about an animal that eats something with the seeds. Well, that animal will will go to the bathroom, but it's not going to the bathroom necessarily right where it ate the food. It's going to walk and move around and, go somewhere else. And then it's going to go to the bathroom, and then it may eat something else, and then it's going to walk somewhere else. So that animal, or whatever's eating it, is helping it. Think about a bird. If a bird eats something with a seed and then goes to the bathroom, or, just all kinds of different things, you're traveling and you're moving that seed from one location to another. So that's helping it to kind of relocate to a new area. So we kind of tied in, those are all the plant's adaptations. And so we were tying in what we've talked about before in the past, and just kind of put all that together with that image there. Then on this next one, um, some worked on this today if they had time. Others worked on, or we'll do it tomorrow. So we're going to find 5 real life pictures of seedlings and just talk about kind of some similarities between those. And then same thing, but 5 real life pictures of plants, and talk about similarities between those. And then we'll do a reflection. What is a life cycle? What are the 4 stages that all life cycles have in common? And then in detail explain the life cycle of any plant that you'd like. So you can use the ones that are here and explain just the process of how it goes from one part to another. Pick something different. Just kind of reflect on that. So we'll wrap that up tomorrow. And then let's see. For social studies, we've been working on this here. So this original assignment had 18 pages, and students were asked to go through the 18 pages and to pick 3 of the pages that they'd like to research. So they got to pick what they're researching about. So these are just different things, different Spanish explorers, different battles, things like that that we've talked about throughout the year. So it's just kind of a review and going back and just looking a little bit deeper into some of the things that we've talked about. And so we'll do one page of these a week. So the 3 pages, so one page will be for this week, and the second page will be for next week, and then the third page will be for our last week of school. So there'll be 6 projects total because there's 2 on a page, and so they were to delete the extra pages and just work on those 3. So Miss Mantuso, our librarian, has been talking to them for several weeks about research and just how to look up information, how to use our library resources. We've got lots of great online encyclopedias and different things like that that students can use. And so make sure you're using those and don't get frustrated just because you go to PebbleGo or you go to one of the online encyclopedias. Just because you don't find it in one place doesn't mean the information isn't out there. You have to look at several different things and kind of combine information from different, all these different resources. So it's not going to be like I can just go to this one site and get all my information. You're going to have to look at a few different things. So, it's called research, like you have to search. So, that's that there. And so we worked on that. And then today, during our intervention time, we went on the Makerspace page, which is in Google Classroom. And that is going down, right here. Here's our virtual classroom. You click on that. And then page 14, I believe. Yep, page 14 um, has the Makerspace Learning Lab. So these, just about every photo that you click on is a different website with different STEAM challenges and different things that you can try. And there's all kinds of coding, robotics, different games and challenges, all kinds of different things on here. So they had time to do that and a little bit of extra time since we didn't have our specials today. And speaking of specials, all music and all of the PE, all of those assignments are due tomorrow. So please make sure those, just like my assignments, you get a grade on it. It goes on your report card. Same thing for music and same thing for PE. So all of those things have to be completed. So we don't want to get of course, we don't want any failing grades for any of your main subjects, but also it would be silly to get a failing grade in a music or a PE class. They have given lots of opportunities. They've given extra credit. They've given all kinds of things to try to encourage all this work to get in, or not all of this work, but your work to get in. So make sure that is all ready to go for tomorrow as well. And then the only thing different about tomorrow, so I talked about everything except we'll just have Fun Friday for those that are done and have completed all their stuff for tomorrow. Now, those that had assignments that needed to be done, again, they were not working on a lot of the stuff that I talked about today just because they've got to get their old stuff in first. So, almost probably all of that I talked about today, I was like, you need to pause and you need to go backwards and make sure this old stuff is all completed. So everything from week 27 all the way to week 34, we need all of that done by tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So please make sure that gets done and completed. So all of that can be reflecting on your report card for this last 9 weeks. And then you guys will be fifth graders. I can't believe it. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. And make sure you check your one last thing. Make sure you check your Seesaw messages. I just sent some information about a project that we're going to do these last couple weeks. So make sure you read that about your bottle biography project. Alrighty. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.